Please don't take it as a lecture, but probably 12 to 15 minutes of presentation. Thank you very much for your patience. Okay, can we have the first slide? Right. Business ama horpa matamda mayamna haure yam wana ko adugi matungda khara khong lep pangame adugi matungda expand tawninba matamda ko akhoi mindset se khara constricted ko in uba haita, like you want to do business only in Manipur. As a MBA students and the BBA students, have you ever calculated what is the size of the Manipur market? How do you reap the benefits of market and the economy that is in front of you? So when we want to expand, today Sir Dhavli, Sir Palin and Sir Iravanta, they were talking about expansion. So whenever we talk about business expansion, I think the biggest barrier to expansion is human resource. Paisa le gaya hai, systems le gaya hai, process le gaya hai. Nasai Sir Dhavli ne haram human resource lagi hai lugo pot leite. Aduda Manipur ki aspect tani koi answer is talent pool ya wa le, whether koi science ki IT movers or any other organization, for example even hospitality or so. Ye matlab award bagi award pe to oiler ram hai skill yarum da bugumba. So talent pool mo wa le ko khame. Like the tamba, we are so obsessed with academics and grades, but sometimes we forget that at the end of the day we have to be productive and to be of service to the society and to grow the economy of the state. So skilling is very important. Government of India new education policy makes it very mandatory that skilling has to start now from class 6 onwards. For India to take India to a global power, and the economy and productivity has to set in. Akoi gidam yam pharak tar se unprofessional hoy matam chan la ko ngamdaba suti khara toina logon ba ko basic things. But when you compare, when you read Japanese articles, you will be very proud Japanese are doing this, but yet we will never emulate those qualities. Then tell me one thing. Kananoma manager in a local small or micro enterprise in the Manipur. MBA. But is there any training avenues for mid-career people? Assistant manager manager training in professional organizations like Manipur. Like they, because people think that, oh, I am MBA and I am PhD, so done for my life for learning. They tend to forget that life is a continuous learning process. Then the attitude. Thabak ki matang na kitang disagreement laina matam disagreement ka laina ragadi yaad hai it's okay to disagree on points. Then suddenly the person will feel, sorry, you are disrespecting me. It's not about that. It's about the crux of the matter that thabak ki ne. I don't have any personal issue with anybody. So these are the things, behavioral issues, for example. I will refrain today because the topic is given evolving, expanding and exceeding business possibilities. So I try and stick to this. I'll refrain from speaking about myself. I'll refrain from speaking about my organization. But the point number 7, when the world is not interested in learning and training, what do? You have to rely on yourself. So rigorous internal training is required within those organizations who want to go and who want to expand. Next please. We are still on the expansion of the business. This is coming very deep from my heart. In India, we are too obsessed with individual heroism. Like, oh, he's a leader, he's a great speaker, he's a good businessman. I feel anything more important than yourself is the organization that you're working for, or the institution that you're working for. And when you get obsessed with developing your organization, with you being in the back front but not in the forefront, then your organization, your institution grows. And when your institution and when your organization grows, knowingly or unknowingly, you become that focus. Okay? So, OD is something which you need to concentrate on when you get into businesses. And the ability to build a professional team. It sounds very lame. How many of the organizations in the Northeast India have a clear vision and mission statement? Sometimes vision statements run into 7 sentences. It's very confusing. Sometimes mission statement runs into 8-9 sentences. I want to ask, what do you actually want to be? So, whenever you start a startup or an organization, be very clear, crystal clear about the purpose why you came into existence in the first place. Am I with you? Go. Aduna vision do karino to do se have. Sentence apani de hindabi. Mission to do se karino. Army na Kashmir mission chat matamda. That's called a mission statement. You go in, you destroy the enemy bunkers, you are back in Indian territory within 30 minutes. A mission statement has to be time bound. I see what you see about the highway. Sikum base, kitang seriously learning, especially with the youngsters. Then Manipur akogi marriage kumba, luhomba, keke thok matam da min hangni. What are we talking about here? We are talking about values, right? Value system. Don't think that values are only for individuals and values are only for families and the society. Values also should be set for your organization. What are your value system in your organization? What kind of culture are you going to set within your organization? Then DNA, the genetics kind. Nasana decide what kind of genetics do you want? Blood flowing inside within your organization. MBA toba, BBA toba, students में हम हाइनिंग को मुझे तक ही होना. तब हम तब बनेगा. Marketing, branding, MIS, IT, operations, and all of that. But once you become a manager, please try to learn 2 things. One is human resource and the technicalities of it, and also the soft skills part of it. There you go. So you have human resource taken care of. And we also stated in the morning session that human resources are most difficult to manage. There you go. Then you get into finance and accounts. Maybe you are majoring in marketing, but please try to do something to do with finance and accounts. Once these 2 are in front of you now, and you have a grasp of this 2, nobody can stop you from excelling. Right? What happens is that you will do capital allocation in Nagaland because you want to open a small homestay. But then if you don't have the right human resource there, you will not get the return on your investment. Am I right? See, and you say, this is what I tell within my organization also. We are doing an internal rigorous training on this. And the knowledge of being general management. MBA, you will come out to the interview and you will say, oh sir, I major in marketing, I major in finance. But it's always good to know a bit of everything. It helps. It gives you a very grounded personality. And you know, people would like to hire you. Next. Manipur port yon base. Either high but you should see the importance of sales. Sales have been put on income within the organization. There's a huge lack of training in Manipur, I think, in the Northeast with regards to sales training. The port on the customer reject but what are the techniques behind this? What are the steps to a successful sales? Nanga salesman Nangi manager and general manager oh, you brought in around 30 lakhs of revenue to our company. Great, yeah, you will get incentives. So please never discount the importance of sales and sales of innovatively have a sima pangbiu. As I keeping a check on the cost, keeping the cost down. Aduga ako issue chahi mapan sujalaga khudi thizalaga herapani. So before you launch any service, before you launch any product, it's always good to do testing with the market. Minimum viable product pilot test of the see young dark tire kali MBA courses you are going to best any market you should always check the political climate of the market, the economy of the market, how are the social fabric of the market, and what is the technological advancement of the market. Right? Singapore is high tech in terms of IT. But Manipur, we have to know the reality. All of that. Matam chana funding phangba yam important. Nasai noi khara nasu yam inquisitively hangi yawe. Funding matanga. Aduda funding the debt haraga de loan lo uduni. Ada mi khara na shares pamaga di noi ni company noi na startup ko company da lakh amada hapa ko manga da hapa ko equity lo yawe. Those investors. Okay, please don't explore the Aduga, no in a hay paisa pre-IPO placement for HNI and HISE. When you IPO, the stock exchange listing company see, reality in world. Okay. So they look for high net worth individuals who have good net worth, and they will tell you that the price with the stock market, the shares, they will tell you to buy it at 62 rupees because you are privileged, you get discounts. So Sikum which you can explore much later in your life when you are 35 plus, 40 plus, and all of that. One of the students also happened to ask me that when you run multiple units, even some of my friends also ask me, when you run multiple units, how do you manage it? My simple thing is that you have to be master at developing team and managing teams. You are not Krishna, that you can be everywhere. I'm just a human, so I can be at one place, but you have this teams taking care of things. Other teams when you spend a lot of time, and money and thinking on developing process and systems for your organization. McDonald's McDonald's is like within 3 minutes it comes like that. It's a system, it's a process. You can export it to New Zealand or Africa, it will come to you in 3 minutes. McDonald's ki staff sing sung yeng biu ko. Ate hospitality the chang bada no phekka torga welcome sir dining to idana. McDonald's staff will never ever smile at you. Do you know that it's a system? They have been told not to smile. Because if you smile, the conversation carries on. And 3 minutes becomes 3 minutes, 10 seconds. It's not a system for them. So please develop systems and process within your organization. It takes care of itself. Next, please. This is for youngsters who are now playing around with technology. And Anil, you will know better also. Internet is like a godsend gift to humanity, I feel. So you will have things like so you'll come across things like drop shipping, where you don't have port, but through the technology you are selling already, But it's getting sold from, not from me, but from Anil's shop or from Ranjita's shop, for example. But I'm just using technology as an interface. Then there's a growing trend. Manipur van, it's a trending business globally also, not only in Manipur. It's called thrift shopping, thrift shops. You sell things at a lower price, You know, or 1980s, the Thai DM call is the you want to buy. It's nostalgic. So there are things like that which you could explore, you know, home labor courts. But people are doing it. So either we pass it on to the next cousin, or else there are people in US and India who are selling it. So you make a business out of it. To the MBA students and the BBA, what I would like to say is also that I will say something new also. The courses and the modules and all that. But I want you to be very aware that the world today is a very complex system and is very interconnected. Like green economy has in it, carbon footprint, electric vehicles, we want a green economy. But electric car, it's expensive. It's too expensive. How can common people buy, you know, electric vehicles? So such things are happening, so you need to know all of that. How many minutes have I taken, Roshan? 10 minutes now. Okay. So I'll just try and go a little fast also. So digital transformation, you're all aware of it. Digital transformation, it's like you have to get your process right and then later on implement it, because it becomes too costly and too hazy. So that's one thing. The second last point is quite interesting. What is leadership? My answer to leader my answer to they want to show and guide the world. But to be very honest, there is no job role called leader. There is no job role called leader. Leaders have Manipur, but there is no such job role. There are only acts of leadership. Nasimo is the organized who have given acts of leadership. So you can only do acts of leadership, but you are not a leader. That is something new that I wanted to share. Words say you have to be very agile in a VUCA world, workout world. It's a very volatile word. COVID 2008 the economic crisis Pakistan the floods It's a very uncertain world, complex and ambiguity. So you, the MBA graduates and the BBA graduates, you have to navigate this world and you have to be very agile, light and quick response. That's something. Exceeding, because that was one of the words. I think Madam Ranjita comes from all the hospitality background, Oberoi and all of that, and many more respectable names. In order to exceed, you may have competitors, okay? But if you start giving the best service, you'll be known for that, right? You could be the second, third or fifth. You're not the first. But if you start giving exceptional service, you will become the most preferred partner. Same thing for quality as well. You may not be the pioneer, but if you stick to quality, people get to know over a long period of time. Convenience and easy access, like how you have seen 7-Eleven in Southeast Asia and 24/7 stores in Delhi. Branding has to be really strong and clear, and this is what we do very religiously. You're reporting and measuring your performance. If you get obsessed with this, you are set to reach your targets and succeed. Next, please. Madam Sisina, in out of context, you have a topic again, but I really wanted to share with the youngsters here. Culture. I am MBA Excel sheet, forecasting, business plan. All this sounds great, but I'll tell you one thing: until unless you don't build the right culture in your organization will never succeed. Culture is very important, and the culture is deep things like artifacts, values and beliefs, underlying assumptions and all. Okay? And this is very much required for Manipur and Northeast. Moral reimagination. Manipur and Nasi Lambi Thong Karambia economy, startup policy, but last just by not using the head, but by just feeling in your heart, below your neck, where is our moral compass? Phil, you need to ask where we are, and it will be taken over by you, and you will pass it on to your grandchildren. And you need to ask once again with a pure heart, where is our moral compass? It's very important in business to create a better society. I'll exclude that. Adaptive leadership. I have high textbook, the leadership, some people say authoritarian, participating, but just to inform the young minds here, the most happening or unheard leadership right now is called adaptive leadership. Please read up more on this. It's a lot to do with adaptation to your environment and how you succeed. Technical challenges like the technical solutions, PBI, but adaptive challenges like the you have to have a different set of skills to be an adaptive leader. If that business does not care about social impact, if that business does not care about climate, we are very irrelevant. But Pakistan, if tsunami would have happened in Manipur, Manipur would not happen here. We would not have been sitting here and talking to Manipur is progressive. So we cannot ignore climate. So when you find businesses, climate, social, it becomes very important. Marks and Spencer, the 2005 the Plan A, all the employees in Marks and Spencer across the world is practicing. 2005. CCA, it's my very recent discovery. If you are a business student, don't just confine yourself in only business studies. Sometimes try to understand how government works. Try to understand a little bit of political science, the constitution, how I can influence the government in favor of the government, the business policies. Other than politics is very easy. Knowing law is important. All the taxes that you're paying, GST, law. Why philosophy? Dr. Palin was getting philosophical this morning. He spoke about present and all of that. Philosophy is important when times get very difficult. So as a leader, you need to have a little bit of philosophy, public policy, and also a knowledge of economics. Last is dancing on the dance floor versus getting onto the balcony. But when I get onto the balcony like this, I get a big view. So in Thabak also, in your work, you get too busy with every day running around in operations that you don't realize how does the larger picture looks like. Sometimes it's good to get off from there and get onto the balcony and look what's happening around. What is the trend? What is the pattern? You know, me something like sometimes, you know. Next, please. 3 value discipline, which any business could do. Either you are number 1 in product, either you are very good with your customers, or number 3, either you are McDonald's, operational efficiency. This 3 will come true for everybody, sitting from the first row to the last row. And unemployment, I'm also trying to address that through my work. But the real fact is, more than the unemployment, the real danger for Manipur and for India is that poverty. Stats poverty has purchasing power parity is only $1.25 the 22% of India's population is like But if I make it just $2, which is peanuts again, then 50% of India is like liar. And India's GDP is growing at 7%. National unemployment is 6%. But poverty is like 22 to 50%. So please understand what you're addressing. Link up your business to solving social problems. Sometimes visit villages and understand what's going on there. You know? Next. I would just say only one thing and skip this slide. I'm coming to an end. How about our graduates and MBA and BBA students having business models which focus on people and planet, rooted in inclusion and respect? Think about it. Business you think about people and you think about the planet. Next. With this, I'll just finish my presentation. I was recently selected for some of the social leaders in India, and there were 500 applicants, and then it zeroed down to 50, and then we had to go through certain tests, and lastly 20 of us were selected. And I'm so privileged that I spent 1 year with all the social leaders in India. These are some of the glimpses, and I'll just tell you what kind of work they are doing so our youngsters can think, oh, next. 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 These are the whole 20 people. This woman, Lara, she's working on menstrual hygiene in rural villages. Priyang runs cafes, restaurants, Nukkar, and all his employees are disabled people, mentally retarded, people who cannot speak, people who have physical disability, and even transgender. So he has given, livelihood to people who are me disability, he is doing that. Mala, education system, the flaws class 4 ki angang thingane yam saying research organic going hygiene class 4 ki angang na class 2 ki like pa hite sigi research thole bayam. So she is addressing that class 2 ka angang school dati, but class 4 ki angang na class 2 ki like pa hite the lower area. She is fighting for the indigenous rights of the people of Northeast. That's me. Bharat, Massive ortho doctor in Singapore, in a very reputed hospital. He left all of that and he started rural health care. Salman, he's working with many districts for poverty eradication, accelerator program run in Nehana. Moses, 97% blind, but he's the director of Enable India. Moini motive say India da disability labor me me amse kamai na koi impact ta thabak to ngamba direct to ngamba aduga nation ki economy this contribute to ngamba ki ma kan thabak suri. She is a feminist. He's a major youth transformation programs from the south. She is a very renowned lawyer from Bangalore Law School, kind of reputed with it. She quit her profession and she became a farmer, because she wanted to provide organic foods to the people living in the city of Bangalore. She's into, I think, as a highway environment crusader. She's again for the thing. He's an IS officer who's in the program. Soeb, Anil, it could be of interest of you. He does this digital intervention in a very classrooms, but his cost is lower, 1/4 lower than any corporates. So he's getting all that work in India. Then Shrishti, this guy, he has a village. Government has given him a village, and it's around 15 to 19 acres, and he welcomes all the disabled people and mentally challenged people from around the country. And he lives along with them and gives them service. He works with Herald High if any one of you starts a social enterprise and you need funding, you can go to him. So the reason why I shared with you this is not that I did this, I wanted to have you a different perspective. Business, for business sake, can we include people? Can we include society? Can we take care of our environment? That's the kind of business model that I would love to see when I get old and look at all of you. Thank you very much.